Welcome, everyone. This is Pilot Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest LOTRO and hear LOTRO players. And this week we have with us St. Krister.
Saint Krister. I like that has a particular ring to it. I like it.
Cinders.
Hello!
And welcome back to Sense Winda.
Hello.
Hello. Yay. Let's get together then for some news because we have some release notes this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You picked a great day to come back, Sans.
Yeah, this is update 43.3, which was released on April 2nd, 2025. And news and noteworthy, the task collections box in Rakatab, Cape of Umbara, has once again been turned in tasks bestowed by the task board that's next to it. Well, it's good for it to allow you to turn in the tasks that are next to it. That's a good idea.
Yep.
Okay. For French translations, the translation of light damage in French has been updated. Didn't they do that last week also?
I think it was
Those who updated the updates have been sacked.
Hmm?
Those who updated the updates have been sacked.
Oh, okay. All right.
Or maybe they changed it from the translation to a different version of it, and now that they had to change it a third time to get the real right damage.
Okay. All right. Let's then go to the Temple of Utugbur. For Wing 2, 13, Orcish Fury will now fall off out of combat so that it does not impact enemies in rooms outside of the first boss encounter.
Well, that's nice.
And for Wing 3, the Inner Sanctum, fix the tooltip error with Bound by Shadow top tier effects. These now reflect the chance to harm yourself on skill plays. And during the first boss fight, there was a chance, if the tank was slain, that Azagoth would drop aggro and reset the fight. This has been addressed. For Garish skill changes, Garish no longer inducts when using Weaken Resolve. Garish now uses Weaken Resolve every 2 seconds if his aggro target is not close to him. This is a raid-wide effect. Garish's induction on Purge the Hopeless is reduced to 3 seconds, and Garish's Purge the Hopeless now checks to see if a player has Gandalf's protection. As for nodules no longer create new blisters. Nodules explode for high shadows damage in an area around them, dazing and rooting fearing opponents caught in the blast, and add a new tier of Shrew Despair. Blister hotspots deal more damage. Vortices should now change targets when attempting to damage players with their ranged damage skills. Dancing Shadow Blades damage has been reduced considerably. Dancing Shadow Blades will only occur on Tier 3. And Azagoth's Metal, Will, and Malice target effects now clearly state which Azagoth skill they make you susceptible to. And that is it for the release. Now, there was something else that was added then, but that we'll be talking about a little bit later than that. What we are going to talk about now, though, is our spring letter from Orion. A letter from Orion for March 2025. Well, actually, this was posted April 2nd, so got out a couple of days late. Read more of our upcoming development in a new letter from the lead system designer, Orion. Good morrow and welcome from the Lord of the Rings Online team. We hope the early part of 2025 is treating you well and let the bounty of sunshine of spring have you all as happy as we are for the rest of the year to come. As stated in the letter to the players at the end of 2024, we are delivering an update on game development and direction for the next 6 months. We are nearing another milestone for The Lord of the Rings, our 18th anniversary, and we hope to see at least 93 more. I guess that's so we can make 11. Update 44 arrives in April with a new content pack featuring new story quests, missions, and a 6-player instance. The content pack targets players of level 150 and continues the story of the people of Shagana. The raid announced in the previous letter for Update 44 has been removed from the schedule. Sadly, releasing the current Temple of Utagbur raid took longer than anticipated, and we no longer have the time to deliver another raid in this window. Rest assured, there will be a new raid in our expansion later this year. Update 44 also adds the VIP only favorite standing reputation enhancement extended to nearly all of the reputations throughout the game. Introduced as a feature only accessible to VIP players who purchased the Legacy of Morgoth expansion, this feature will soon be accessible to all VIP players across the game, starting with the earliest reputations in the Shire, Erluane, or Breland and extending through the Legacy of Morgoth. This enhancement allows alternate characters on an account to earn reputation with a variety of reputation factions at an accelerated rate, provided one of their characters has greater standing with the faction. Are you excited about that?
Kinda.
All right.
I mean, that sounds nice, but at the same time, I still have to figure out which quests to do to be able to use the tokens.
Right?
And they're not always straightforward. So, yes, this is a great thing, but also, I don't know how much it will help me because I don't know how many of those quests I'm going to actually track down.
Well, it's usually the intro quests. It's usually a relatively early quest that's in there.
I feel like
Fair. Most of them are semi-sensible.
it feels like this is kind of a return to what you were able to do before with just saving rep cookies for your characters. Right? Like you're getting the same kind of a thing with the enhancement, except that those characters actually will have to go do some questing, I guess.
Well,
Or they
see,
can use rep cookies if they've done some questing.
the idea is
Yeah,
to make it a little
but-
bit easier, not to make it so they could do it without doing any questing.
Well, I know, but like I feel like this is kind of the same idea. Like when you take one character, say through the Shire, and then you have all those Mathams, and you use all the Mathams you need, and then you save them. So then your next
Right.
character comes along, and they're also going through the Shire, but they benefit from all your saved Mathams already, plus collect their own to boost themselves up. I feel like it's kind of the same idea. The difference is that now it's not with the clickies, it's like just freely there, I guess.
Oh, well.
It seems almost redundant.
I see
but
where
I'm
you're
sure
going
there's
with this, but this seems like a improvement over just saving rep clickies.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't take up
Like-
space in your inventory.
It's
Also, Sam says he's guessing
I mean,
it was. Go ahead.
despite my gripes about having to track down which quests I didn't do on my characters, this does seem like a good improvement.
Right. I'm not saying it's a bad improvement. It just to me seems redundant. But, you know, Sam says that he's guessing it was True Despair and not Shrew Despair. Great show title idea, by the way. There. And then the usual people got angry when they read there wouldn't be any new raid until the expansion. Well, you know.
Oh, well. Well, you want to have time for someone to actually finish finish the current raid before bringing out a new one, because then people would be angry that why are you bringing out another raid? We hadn't had time to finish the first one yet. Yeah.
Right?
And even worse, the new raid, if they didn't have time to finish developing it the way they want to, would be buggy, and then people would be complaining about that too.
Well, yes, that of course
Complaints
is
upon complaints
nothing.
upon complaints.
All right. Festivals and events are getting a more focused and extensive treatment this year. The anniversary event, coming free to all players with release of Update 44, is the first considerable revision and inclusion of this treatment. The 18th anniversary event will provide new missions scaling from 20 to 150 with new rewards and the ability to experience these missions as delvings. So, missions coming to festivals, that's new. That's very definitely new. Later, the Midsummer Festival adds a new festival island with new quests, experiences, and rewards. All right, so that's interesting in there. And they're saying that the anniversary is coming with update 44. Now, the anniversary is, I think, a little bit about 2.5 weeks from the time of this recording. So that means we could expect update 44 in 2.5 weeks. That means if they're going to be doing a bull roar for that 6-player instance, they are going to have to open up bull roar next week. So maybe next week we'll have an opportunity to say that we've looked at the new instance and can say what we think about it.
I don't think I'm going to be playing on Bull Roar, but it's a good idea.
Okay, we will just have to see. Yeah.
I say by the time I get done getting my character put together and getting on Bull Roar and going to the Isengard and all that stuff, there's just no time for playing left.
Oh, I usually don't go to the Isengard when I do bull roar. I rarely do. I normally just transfer a character over and just use it as is.
Yeah, I don't do that. It never occurred to me to do that for starters, which is probably a large part of why I don't do that. But that would make sense if that's how you do it, to actually have playing time on there. But I just, every time I'm like, oh, they wiped them. Great, start over.
Right.
Go to the Isengard and pop yourself all the way up. Okay.
Sorry, that was probably my fault for showing you how to play with all the cool new gear that they had there.
that was exactly how that happened too, and I just thought that's what you have to do every time.
It is.
I am so sorry.
With the new gear.
It's okay.
Some of the new gear you can play with your character that you pop over to. You just can't use the auto level ups, or you didn't used to be able to use the auto level ups on your character that you transferred over. And I wanted to test the new level caps too, to test all the new gear.
So we started just as they released the Valars, right? So that's what we were doing, was checking out the Valars. And now that I'm looking back at it, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And with that added information, I'm like, okay, so that's what Sans was trying to get me to do. I just thought that was how you played the game.
All right. Next then, Lalia is adding a wing to her market to preview all of the new housing decorations that she is making available to the community. New housing items are available for sale using a new currency, homesteading coins. The current cost of premium housing restricted our ability to provide flexible spending on housing options and decorations. When we moved housing decor and options to Lalia's market, we also decided to sunset premium housing writs for a more flexible currency. Homesteading coins will replace premium housing writs. Now, instead of not knowing what to do with a pile of writs, you will not know what to do with a bunch of homesteading. No, they said you can now convert those writs into homesteading coins and purchase housing decorations, music, walls, and more.
Please tell me the coins sit in your wallet and not in your inventory. That would be
I
worthwhile.
hope so.
If it sits in
I
your
will hope
wallet
it.
like all the other currencies, sign me up.
Okay.
So I hope it doesn't have a cap on it that's easily reached, because that's
Well,
really annoying.
no,
Right?
I think it's unlikely because caps are usually put on things that you earn in game and can be potentially used in order to get useful rewards within the game. But something that is probably going to be bought for mithril, which is easily converted into real money, and is going to be used for housing decorations. Yeah, putting a cap on it would be ridiculous. Yes. Okay. What did I say? That was so funny.
Finally, it's like things that will be useful. And I'm like, clearly, housing decorations are not useful to Pine Leaf.
Perhaps that was.
Also, this
Maybe I should have
confirms
said
our
utilitarian.
suspicion that uh, there is actually efforts to make things that are useful harder to acquire.
Yeah. Oh well. In any case, we'll have these homesteading. I have exactly one housing writ currently, because that's what I had left over since I had gone into Peregrine with no not the Peregrine, which the into Glamdring with two characters that had a premium house there, so I used that in order. So I got a slightly cheaper house for my second house instead of a second copy of the first house, and that left me with one writ at the end of the all the exchanges. So I guess I'm going to get a few of these coins in there and go to Lollius Market to see if I can do anything with it. I guess we'll find out.
Housing bags.
And
Hashtag worth it.
as a part of the reorganizing effort underway at Lollius Market, you will find convenient repair and consumable vendors. In the future, traveling limited time vendors like Filbert Fig, Rowan Raspberry, and Myrtle Mint will also set up shop in the market in addition to their usual haunts. Hmm. I'm probably going to have a couple of characters that might wind up getting that Lodia's Market port. I had one character that during the move over to over to Peregrine, when I moved over there, I had no good way to get to Bree on that character. So that was the first character where I actually bought the Lolia's Market port, so I would have a port to Bree.
Pocket ports to free. Excellent plans.
Yeah. We also want to provide an update on the progress of our long discussed kinship refresh, highlighting the current development status and reasoning behind the changes that we are making. First, let us give the traditional disclaimer about future work. Everything is fluid and subject to change. This is a collection of ideas that we are investigating and making efforts to achieve, inspired by you. But who knows when they're actually going to happen?
Really
Bringing
quickly,
the
before
yeah
you keep going with that, we have a comment from Sam about the Isengard. Uh,
yeah.
he says he spends so much time in the Isengard Tavern that he often sees, "Thank you, tonight's testing is over," before he leaves it.
Yeah. Ladia's Market Port is only 3 mythical coins, which is, the first time I saw that port in there, I had thought it was a travel map and not a permanent port, which is, I think, one of the reasons why I was reluctant to buy it in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess she gives a discount on them to encourage people to come to her shop. Changes outlined above increase the
Oh,
amount of data.
you skipped a
Oh, did
paragraph.
it? Oh, okay, yeah, yes. Bringing the kinship system up to modern standards to allow advancement, deeds, calendars, management of information, and filtering tools, banks, kinship traits, boons, and so much more is rooted first in getting the management of the data right. Our kinship management is older than the game, and don't tell me it was designed for Asherston's call. And has seen few updates over the decades. As a result, our first order of business is to modernize the storage and management of data. Good luck in doing that because every time you try to modernize the storage and management of data, uh, the it seems like the game thwarts you in the attempt at doing it. Changes outlined above increase the amount of data that we need to store, and without refinement, kinship updates will degrade performance and be detrimental to our game. In other words, it will cause lag. Our engineering team is hard at work in solving this problem, taking special care to ensure the transition to the new storage model is seamless and uneventful. The social bonds that we construct in kinship are incredibly important, and we want to ensure that nothing impedes or threatens a kinship when these updates go live. The first step, while not something that you will see directly, unlocks the future and allows us to start working through the list of potential enhancements outlined above. We would be remiss if we did not mention that we are working on a player facing aspect to validate, test, and then refine kinship data storage. We are hoping to start teasing this feature shortly after the launch of Update 44. If all goes well, we want to provide the feature to all kinships before the release of Update 45. Good luck in doing that. Let's see. Lolly is the founder of the White Busters, according to my LOTRO version of the Ghostbusters theme lyrics.
Nice.
Okay. Well, I guess that time in the Barrow Downs has decided that she doesn't like those things.
Who are you
It
going to call?
changed her.
It changed her. Yes. It left an imprint on her and on every player that has tried to escort her.
Yes, as she strolls into danger.
Yes.
Oh my word. There's only one NPC that rivals her for annoyance. And that's the
Oakart?
yes, Sarah Oakart. Those
What?
two
Oh, you're right.
have got to be the worst escort quests in game.
Yeah. Well, uh, the only thing that makes me want to question that is that I had to run retaking Pelargir today, and of course one of the twins died during it. So,
Of course.
Of course.
so it's like, no, you have to put me through the torture again. Oh well. Speaking of Update 45, our third update of the year in the summer is starting to take shape. While the details will need to wait until our June update, we want to provide a sneak peek into some relevant updates that we are planning. For this, we are including a snapshot of our updated roadmap. So we have here the development update for Q2, which is nice and thorough in here with many entries. Q3, which has a few entries in here, and Q4, which just says expansion pack. But it also does say that the level cap is going to be increased to level 160, and that there'll be 4 new zones in the landscape. But let's get to Q2, and we will have a content pack called The Crown of Hamat. So I believe that we are going to be helping to restore the kingdom of Hamat, which is be working with the queen, who is the central quest giver in the third area that we have in there. And that also goes with something else that we'll be talking about later. And we have the 18th anniversary update to the anniversary event, new missions, new quests, and new rewards. While your market's being refreshed and expanded, introducing the housing decorations inside the market, a VIP exclusive favored standing updates, and a Midsummerfest update, new area quests and rewards, and more, of course. And that's what's planned for Q3. As for Q2, as for Q3, we have some class updates to the Hunter and the Burglar. We have hobby updates. They are updating the rewards for birding. I guess there have been a lot of complaints about the rewards in birding. And also the fishing update where there'll be a new way to fish.
Oh, I hope it's
Ooh.
upside down.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
just wondering what did. Yeah.
Do you think it's gonna be nets, or do you think we're gonna
Oh,
get
yeah.
to stand in the water and grab?
Okay, I didn't think of nets, but of course, nets are the natural thing to for the whole thing. Is of course being able to set out fishing nets. That sounds like something that's natural in there. For some reason, I was thinking crab pots, but that's not quite fishing.
Because you've been playing Stardew Valley. No, but you
Yes.
know how like they have handheld nets?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That way you don't have to like set them and leave them. You just go along with it and scoop in the water.
Yeah, and of course, Sam also mentions fly fishing as a possibility, but I don't see how you could distinguish fly fishing from other types of pole fishing. So at least in game.
Well, you'd be flying.
You'd be casting and your hand would go back and forth. It's like a full body exercise.
Okay. Bjorning salmon catching. Okay.
That sounds like a competition. That sounds like a
sounds
competition,
awesome.
not a hobby. What are you doing this weekend? Bjorning fishing competition.
Yes. And we are also going to have an update to the Farmers Fair. And in Monster Play, we'll have a reward track, and they are going to try, once again, they are going to make an attempt at getting in Siege. We'll see if that will happen, because the last time they attempted it didn't work out very well, if I remember correctly. But as I said, there'll be more that they're planning on Q3. They just haven't announced everything yet. Like, they haven't announced what the questing is going to be like for Q3 yet. So you'll just have to see. As you can see, the middle part of the year is jam-packed with updates, changes, and improvements. There is also a lot more planned. We are not highlighting yet, as the timing is subject to change, and we are erring on the side of caution rather than oversharing. You can expect to see some of our planned changes for the summer earlier than usual on our Bulwer Public preview server, including potentially our work on PvP, Burglar, and Hunter. We want to ensure the functionality and balance of the new pieces before we move them into our live servers. In other words, they want to give us at least a month to complain about what they're doing to the Burglar and the Hunter instead of putting it in after 2 weeks. Our current schedule and output should provide some staggered testing on the different aspects of the summer release and provide a preview of the new kinship features before it arrives on the live server. We hope you enjoyed this update for quarters 2 and 3. The information here should give you something to digest for the coming days and weeks. Our next update should be available before the end of June, and dates on the board before the release of update 45 will be communicated through the forum and through our new Discord. If you have not joined yet, you should really consider doing so. Until then, we want to thank you for your continued support and love of the game. As always, I remain Orion. Now they're saying, see, dates will bar before the release of. Oh, dates for the bowl release before they would be communicated through the forums and through the Discord. Okay, yeah. All right. And that's the development plan for quarters 2 and 3. Any comments on any of this?
Commented as we went, so I think I'm good.
All right. And then let's have a look at the new Patrons coffer that we have, the Patrons coffer of the Sands, and there is a Hamat theme to it. So this is obviously something that is meant to be a little tease, I think, for update 45. And so these are some new cosmetics in here. And of course, as usual, there are 3 tiers of this. And we have the Patron Simple Coffer of the Sands, where you'll get 100 mithril, the title of the Sands, and Patron Simple Cosmetic Coffer of the Sands. And so gives you a Cloak of the Sands, the Hooded Cloak of the Sands, the Ceremonial Spear of the Sands, and the Tome of the Terror of the... Oh,
Okay, Sands, you need that coffer because you need to be Sands of the Sands.
Okay, that
Whoa.
would be pretty awesome.
I was imagining that the coffer was just filled with a bunch of memorabilia with Sane's face on it.
Okay, that
Yeah.
would be even
Sands.
better.
All right. So, and the simple cosmetic thing, of course, cloak and hooded cloak, which are, of course, typical things at the lowest
Oh.
tier to it. Yeah.
Sam has a comment on it as you
Yeah,
look
yeah,
through
but
it.
not yet. I don't want to mention Sam's comment until we get to the third one,
Okay,
since that's
I
when we're
wasn't
talking
sure if
about
you
it.
saw it. Okay, go.
Okay. Yes. All right. So therefore, we have the cloak is typical on this. The ceremonial spear. See, I had forgotten that the ceremonial spear comes with the lowest tier on this, and that I did do a video last week where I am doing a mission with my warden using the ceremonial spear of the sands on there. And also we have the Tome of the Terror of the Sands. And I'm making this. Does this mean that we are going to get terror birds in LOTRO? And meaning that there's going to be a mob in the next update?
Something as war steeds?
No, I don't think a terror bird as a war steed.
I mean, it would be
Oh, there you go.
terrifying.
I mean, why not?
I'm still holding
Couple
out for the
people in a
Shire Plum
chariot.
die first. I'm going to be irritated if we get another mount type before we get Shire Plum die for our cosmetics.
I will say that the
I will
odds
not
of
be.
us getting Shire Plum dies is pretty low, but
See, I feel like it should be higher though, because lots of people, I am sure, would like their war steed armor to match their outfit. It makes sense.
Does.
yes,
you,
I
Krista.
don't know. I do not know the percentage of the player base that routinely runs in Shire Plum armor.
I don't know.
Maybe
the
more
percentage-
would if they could match their war steeds.
Yeah, type it in
Right.
Google.
I don't
Okay,
know that
so
Google would
come
be able
up
to
with
tell me,
the
but-
foremost. So I guess they need to do is to find out what dyes are commonly used that are not currently with no matching war steed dyes and implement those.
I think that is an excellent plan.
All right. Or when you're saying that you want Shire Plum dye, are you talking about one in a new set, or are you talking about having 4 different variations close to Shire Plum, so you have various variegated forms on your? Because I know those things are sold in lots of 4. Yeah.
She wants it in our food. She wants it on our cars and in our fabrics. She wants it everywhere.
She wants it everywhere.
He's
All food,
not-
Shire Plum. All
See-
sky, Shire Plum. All squirrels, Shire Plum.
Maybe not that much. That would be a tad excessive.
Oh, okay.
But I'd like to
This
see
whole
it for the
fucking go too far.
carpets in your housing. And right now they don't have it in the carpets.
My eyes hurt just thinking. Just I didn't even vision Shire Plum carpets, but my eyes hurt
they they
thinking
have
about it.
a pink-ish one. I think it's technically purple, but it looks nice and pink. So that's what I put in my houses when I put down the carpet. Because it was the closest I could get. But I think they should have it in the carpets, and I think they should have it for Warsteed Cosmetics. Um, I'm not even opposed to it being like shades like you were talking about because we know that some things on our outfits dye slightly differently too, depending on uh, what outfit it is. So the more pink, the merrier.
The more pink, the merrier. All right.
Tyrannobertus Rex.
Yeah, that is Sam's name for the terror bird. It is Tyrannobertus rex. Yeah, that is real nasty thing. I guess that's something to go for because I tried looking up the real family name for terror birds, and well, let's just say I am not going to attempt to pronounce that. So let's go and see what's in the enhanced coffer of the sands, where we'll more than double the mithril amount. So it's 250 mithril, one lesser elixir of virtue for 2500 virtue XP. You, of course, get the title of the sands plus the title Student of Hamat. And the patron's enhanced cosmetic coffer of the sands includes, in addition to the cloak and spear and the terror bird, will also include a weapon aura of the sands. And if you spring for the patrons a luxuriant coffer of the sands, we'll double the mithril from the enhanced version to 500 mithril. And you'll get 6 lesser elixirs of virtue. So that's a total of 15,000 virtue XP. In addition to the Of the Sands and Student of Hamat titles, you'll also get the Beauty and the Terror. And the patron's luxuriant cosmetics coffer of the sands includes your Tome of the Terror of the Sands, of course, and you'll also get a milestone style of the
Zablob!
sands emote. So you have the sandstorm whirling about you when you port away. But as Sam pointed out a little while ago, if you happen to be in a cold place such as the Misty Mountains or Fort Hell or Thorn's Gate, it will instead be a snowstorm instead of a sandstorm.
That rocks.
Which is pretty
Yeah.
cool that it knows where you're located.
Yeah, so it knows where you're located and uses the appropriate one in there. And Druid's Fire was showing that off during her stream on Friday. And you'll also get a Tea Time of the Sands bauble. So this is a full tea set that is placed on the ground. And so you and your fellows could then sip some tea using the tea set.
And can we use that in conjunction with the picnic table?
Well, seeing that it's only a cosmetic, I guess it should be no problem using it with the picnic table.
Oh,
You're disappointed, I guess, not that you could use it
some
in conjunction.
super secret bonus or deed, I guess.
I do not know of any secret bonus or deed in there, but we could try just to find out. And you'll also get the Steed of the Sands, both the regular Steed version and, of course, the various components needed for a war steed. And no, it does not look Shire Plumish in any way whatsoever.
Oh, good. Whew.
And you also get the patron's luxuriant cosmetics coffer of the sands on top of that, which includes, of course, the cloak and the hooded cloak, but also some boots, gauntlets, helm, shoulder guards, robe, and, of course, plus the spear and weapon aura that you got in the previous. And that is it for what is available for the Patrons Coffer of the Sands with this Hamat theme onto it. And if you follow the link in the show notes, it shows you the steed, the teapot, the terror bird, and a player holding the spear and dressed in all the cosmetics. So, any comments on this?
Yeah, Teapot Terrorbird sounds like a band I'd listen to.
Teapot Terror Bird.
Well, that was going to be one of my playings of the week. That I dabbled in these coffers.
Yeah, actually, the Terror Bird looks like that it's eyeing that teapot, or actually one of the cups in the tea set that are surrounding the teapot. All right, and that is it for the Patriots Coffer of the Sands. And finally, the last thing to note on here is that housing is now open on the 64-bit worlds on Friday evening. They opened up the last of the housing neighborhoods on them. So if you need to buy a house on those worlds, you can now go to your nearest housing broker and buy them. I think things went reasonably smoothly, except for the fact that on the busier servers, there was a delay between the time you purchased the house and that the house was actually available.
Oh, that must have been a fun feeling.
Oh, yeah, it was a fun feeling, right? Because I was wondering about, okay, there it goes. It took my housing writs away. Fine. Where's my house? Where is it?
Where's my inventory? Where's my shared storage?
So I decided to log out and see if that helped. It didn't do anything, but when I did log out, wait 30 minutes, log back in, then finally it was in there because all it needed was time. And on Orchrist, it was needed a great deal of time on there. So that took a bit on Glamdring. There was also delay on a couple of days, but not all the days, where one time I bought it. I saw, okay, well, I was familiar with what happened on Orchrist. So how long was this? Do I need to log out or anything like this? Because I was looking at the page, it wasn't there. But after about 2 minutes after I purchased it, then I saw the entry in my housing list pop in there to say, okay, you now own this house. So that took only a couple of minutes when it was on Glamdring. So I did eventually get the houses that I was expecting to get. So everything is all nice and settled, I think. And our kinship, we've managed to get one of those island houses in Bay of Belfalis in there. Drew's Fire was actually helping us with that particular one because she had a number of writs available in which to buy the house. So she was made temporarily leader of Mythgard so she could buy a house so that we could have a good kinship house within there and not have to worry about maintenance and the like. And that's it for gaming news. So let's head into our store sales. Cinders, what's on sale this week?
On sale this week, the Patrons Coffer is available. It is not technically on sale, but it is available through April 20th for a limited time. You can go there and back again and get 15% off of Milestone Skills, Hurried Traveler, and Returning Traveler, Advanced Riding Traits, and Rally Horns now through April 10th. Highly recommend the Hurried Traveler and Returning Traveler, especially if you have a tendency to run around with people who are able to just port wherever they would like warnings.
Yes.
It's nice to be able to sort of keep up with them, unless you're a guardian and can just acorn around.
Well, speaking of guardians, my guardian actually did buy those skills this week.
My guardian has them too, so M has both of them, but that was because Kia Source and I were trying to keep up with two hunters We had a competition going to see who could run in an ale league the fastest. Um, and so we were porting each other different places uh, and needed our cooldowns to be able to keep that up. And then the weekly coupon is free plus 10% run speed boost times 5 for 6 hours. And the coupon code is, and that's when I ran. I suggest you copy and paste it out of the show notes. Also through April 10th. And that's it.
All right. Thank you. Sam said, I clicked many times. Nothing happened until about half a minute later. Tried to port, stayed, but the house port went into cooldown. Went to my housing neighborhood, and when I entered, instead of coming out the entrance, I then got ported to my house. Yes, there was a time when what I had done when I got my Littleby house, something similar happened on that matter, in that I ported because I had just gotten the house and it so this is the one that was delayed by a couple minutes. So I thought, okay, well, let me try to port there. No, it wouldn't port me. So I got there some other means. I think I had to, do whatever contortions I needed to do in order to get myself to Lindleby. And once I got to Lindleby, I then ran to the house, saw it, all that stuff. And as I was going around roaming through the area, the port that I did about 10 minutes ago finally went into effect. And so I ported back to the entrance. Same thing that happened to Sam there. And then I started moving around towards the vendors and all this stuff. And because I had hit the port button twice thinking where it ported me there a second time. So yes, that's what impatience gets you. It gets you. It remembers those ports that you requested. And that is it for Sir Sales. For our site news, yes, we actually have site news this week. That's been a while. Drac posted an article. Oh wow. Oh, it breaks back, man. This Lego Minas Tirith is absolutely epic. Yes?
I just read it and it is absolutely worth a read. And looking at it for the beautiful visuals, they've got great pictures, and there's even a video that you can watch that's linked in there.
Yes. And showing all sorts of images in here. Now, I guess someone forgot that while the main walls of the city are white, the outer wall is supposed to be black, I think, or something like that.
So it was based off of the Peter Jackson ones, it says.
Ooh.
So it's based off the film version.
Okay, it's based off the film. Okay, which is why the outer wall is white. Okay. And it is showing, and if you want to know what the scale is, because when you look at the picture in here, I'm thinking, well, even though you could guess by its relative size to the dresser drawer that's nearby that this thing is fairly large.
It looks like it's probably about 4 feet tall.
Yeah, and one of the pictures shows a cat on top of the area in there.
Mm-hmm.
So until I saw it with the cat on there, I didn't get the full idea of how big it is.
Yeah, the cat's standing up on the top.
Yeah.
But that's also in their attic and not actually their living room at that point. So the scale might be slightly off.
You do have a point to that.
The scale might be slightly off because the cat on top of it has an arched back and the back is just under the ceiling.
Yes.
So I just want to point out the scale with the cat. That one appears to be in their attic, and the scale probably isn't quite that epic.
Okay. That's still pretty large.
Yes.
Certainly not a tiny little Lego set. And I think he said something like 100,000 pieces or something like that.
And it says, okay, so apparently the city design itself comes from the brilliant Stefano Mappelli. So you, too, can even try building your own if you're feeling brave.
If you're feeling and you can afford all those bricks.
Well, so some people...
Well, that's why you build it in Minecraft, see?
Well, also, I'm thinking about the huge stacks of Legos that I have in my house. So, of course, my kid, over the years, like, loved Lego. And so, if you've been collecting Lego over the last several decades of your life, or in his case, a decade and a half, you could have enough Lego pieces lying around to build this and not have to go buy more. I mean, his wouldn't obviously be a white city because
the
he's got plenty of Legos. They're just different colors.
Well, a little, little spray paint.
Spray paint does change that. You are correct.
Yeah, we have the amazing Technicolor White City.
Amazing Technicolor City of Minas Tirith.
Yes. All right. So that is something to look at to see what you can do with a Lego and a lot of time.
And patience.
But how long would it take something to build something that large? Do you have any idea on that?
My guess would be it would depend on how much they had going on. Right? So if you were just working on it night and day, yeah, you could probably finish it in a week. But if you were working on it, say, after work for a couple of hours, maybe a few months.
Okay.
It depends on how dedicated you were to getting it done.
Oh yeah, you can totally, I can totally get into the zone with Legos and then start mass producing things.
Yeah, you just wonder how often does the cat knock something down and make you start over again?
Yeah, I don't know. So if you've ever watched the Lego building competition, is it Lego Builders? What is it called?
Is it Lego Masters?
Yes, Lego Masters. If you've ever watched that, they can build some epic things in about 8 minutes. Or not 8 minutes, 8 hours. 8 minutes. They'll give them like 8 hours to build something. And they get some pretty epic creations. So maybe you could build something epic in 8 hours if you were focused. I don't know.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
It would probably also depend on how quickly you were able, like if you sourced and sorted everything and if you included that in your time. I know.
Yeah, that's tricky.
Finally, if you do understand what the one absolute truth is, if you do not want a cat to disturb your Lego.
Don't have a cat.
No. It's that the cat's made of Lego too.
All right. Let's head into our weekend gaming. Krister, what were you up to?
Well, as slow as my actual progress of power has been in the game, I have gotten my my cosmetically gifted hands on the coffer. And I have been looking at the cosmetics. I haven't looked at the weapon aura yet, nor the travel aura, but I'm very intrigued about the travel aura now on your description. Have you seen the weapon aura in effect?
No, I haven't. That's despite attempting to equip it on one of my characters, but I didn't actually see anything on that one. Maybe it was no, I don't. Yeah, I have no reason. I have no idea why it wasn't showing. Maybe I was using it wrong or something.
I haven't tried it out either, so.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like. I had my favorite subtle one was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away when many changes had not been made. I think it was if you had ancient evil on your items, that they would glow in the presence of the undead. And so, if you were a captain, you could summon your Oathbreaker, and that sword would glow, and it would cast this weird glowing effect on you that other people could see. So, I always loved having that on because people are just like, "What is that?" So, that's what I like about the weapon orders, is that kind of brings back that kind of aspect. Because although it's kind of funny to see how many changes the weapon ores that I've put on have gone through over the years too, because they've definitely been brighter, dimmer, more electric, less electric. But anyways, I've been having fun with cosmetics there, but actually just need to get back on my horse and actually do some adventuring. Had a lot of fun this week playing Enshrouded with Sands and Cinders, and we started a new world and fought stuff and had an epic adventure, I think, so far. So that was a lot of fun. And then I've been in my starship building phase, so I've been in Starship Evo building a lot of ships. So that's been my week. Cinders, what have you been up to?
So I actually have 4 things this week, because I'm being greedy. So I played Stardew Valley, and I started a new world with Sands and Pineleaf, and that was a load of fun. And then I played Enshrouded. It was a new game to me, and then to Sands and my son, who also started playing with us after watching me playing. They were like, "Oh, that sounds like fun!" And then Sands was playing, and then Sands and I were playing, and my son was watching. He goes, "I want that game too." So we did that and played with Krister, and we did loads and loads of exploration, and we figured out how to keep the NPCs from constantly yelling at us every time we pour in. And then I got and played Helldivers 2 a little bit with Krister and with my son.
That's right.
And it's not a game I will be playing independently anytime soon, but I do not mind playing it with other people. It worked out really well.
You didn't embarrass yourself. Yeah,
I did not embarrass myself.
You were a good cadet.
I didn't kill either of them repeatedly just for funsies, They probably wouldn't have kept playing with me if I was doing it on purpose. Let's be honest. And then in LOTRO, I did get my housing. M has a house. Of course, the storage is overflowing. There's not enough hooks for all of my decor, and it's kind of driving me up a wall. I want every room to have a fireplace, a chair, a picture, and a bed, and there aren't enough hooks to do that. You usually get 1 wall item and 1 floor item. Sometimes you get 2 wall items and 1 floor item. But I'm like, I want to make them little bedroom things so I can have lots of company, even though you don't actually use the beds. I want it to look like I could have lots of company. But, it's just a process. So, Sans, what were you up to this week?
Well, I finally bravely transferred characters to Peregrine, and it went really quickly and smoothly. I was kind of shocked by how fast they appeared. I thought I would keep playing my character that I had gotten up to level 6 shortly after Peregrine opened. But no, Sans got over there really quickly. And then I discovered that I had not transferred my shared storage. It's like, why does she not have any shared currencies? Oh, oops. So transferred some more characters. I've got a good start. And then reacquired housing. And so that was a kind of fun adventure. And now I need to redecorate because my housing chests are overflowing as well. And then I played some Stardew Valley. And I've got 2 worlds that are almost to year 2, but I was about to start over again when Cinders and Pine were like, "Hey, want to build a world with us?" And I was like, "Sure." So, but I keep thinking, I could make this even better if I do it over, and just starting over instead of changing things. So, I'm going to have as many Stardew Valley characters as I do LOTRO characters pretty soon. And then I discovered Enshrouded and quickly became engrossed in it, and have really enjoyed the explorations there. Especially like the massive ones that we've undertaken with the four of us, with Gerardo, Krister, Cinders, and I. That's been pretty fun. So that was pretty much my week. How was your week, Pineleaf?
All right, I'll begin with my Guardian, where I was questing in Moria. And I just got to the point where you reach the foundations of stone. This is my first real trip through Moria after they redid the travel system. And there are one or two items in there where where I was annoyed. And one of them was the fact that there is no stable master for the 21st hall to the rotting cellar. There's one to the vile mall, but not to which is in the waterworks, not to the rotting cellar. Like, so that's always been a little bit of a pain because I would have to go to a two hopper in order to get to the waterworks when I was during that phase of the epic storyline where you had to keep on going back to the waterworks.
Isn't there a well?
Okay, well, I did use the well once. I used the well on the one where
Work, Pineleaf.
What?
Good work.
Yeah.
You at least got a title.
Yeah, and so I jumped into the well on that one and survived. So it's fortunate that the time I chose to do it was the one where you want to go to the NPC that's right under the well because I was able to just, okay, I'm next to him. Come and talk to him now. It's usually the times when you survive is when you want to go to the other side of the waterworks or right next to the red circle or something like that. So that one worked out on there. So anyway, my Guardian was going through there, and I'm now at the Shadowed Refuge doing the part of the epic that's over in that area. For Friday Night Fight, we ran the Fort of Bruinen and then the Doom of Karis Calebrin, so they went fairly well. And then also ran a bit of Stardew Valley. In addition to the world I ran with Cinders and Senswinda, I also created my own world, and there I've completed the spring of the first year. So I have a quarter of the year that's done. So we'll see how things are going. I'm starting to learn how things operate, but of course, I guess now I have to figure out can I choose an ingredient that will make the governor happy when the luau happens or whatever that event is?
Cabbage.
I guess we have to find.
You totally can. Do not cook it. And don't go just based on what's valuable. Go out based on what might taste good in a soup.
Right.
Sans recommends cabbage, preferably gold cabbage.
Preferably gold cabbage. Well, is cabbage a summer item?
It'd be something you would have from spring still if you still have it.
Oh.
And if you don't still have it, put in the best vegetable that you have.
Okay.
Or check the wiki.
All right. Yeah, that's one thing is checking the wiki report because it gives this big long list of potential recommendations. Your eyes are glazing, and there's the only thing that jumped out at me is that well, it did talk about certain fish being useful in there, but
cauliflower is really what Cinders meant.
Oh, cauliflower. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yes, cauliflower. Sorry.
A gold star cauliflower will give you the best outcome. But there are lots of good outcomes too.
Yeah.
And
I have some silver. I don't know if I have any gold. But I will see.
It would still give you a good outcome.
I mean, if I were the governor I mean, if this were real life and I were the governor, I'd get food poisoning from the cauliflower, and and you get the worst result.
Fair. So my first year, I thought that like I should bring something that I cooked, and the only
Yeah.
thing I knew how to cook and had the ability to put together were those field snacks. And it will let you put a field snack in, but it will not give you a good result. So
Here, chew on this
well.
bark.
Anyway, we'll see how that works. But so far, so good on the matter. But I think I do need to work. In the single player world, it's trying to work on all this at the same time because now I've got to worry about all those bundles that Sands and Cinders were taking care of. So now I got to worry about those. I got to worry about relationships with the various members of the village, or at least a couple of them, to work on there. And of course, doing the farming in there, doing the mining so that I can get some metals in order to start to use on that. And I did finally upgrade one of my tools because I did upgrade my axe. I think I need to upgrade my pickaxe pretty soon also. But so now I finally have a copper axe, which is good. So I'm starting to work on the matter. Get things done. Upgrades are expensive. That's all I got to say.
yes, they are.
And that's it for my week in gaming this week. We do not have any emails this week, but if you like send one, you could send it to podcast@lotraplayers.com. The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We record Lotra Players News and we record DO Players News when Drac is available. You guys choice for our shows at lotraplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. And this is Pilot Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.